Hello, Be Beautiful. Welcome back to another episode of It's Time to Be You, the podcast that helps people pleasers take control and finally put themselves first. I'm your host, Ariel Vaughn, a recovering people pleaser and certified life coach on a mission to help you drop the shoulds, embrace who you are, and live life on your terms. So last month, I completed my third marathon, and if you know me or follow me on social media, then you probably know I was training for it. Marathon training is like a part-time job, and it's pretty much all I talked about because all of my plans were around my training schedule. And since then, I haven't really been wanting to talk about it. When I see people that I haven't seen, they're always like, well, congrats, and how did it go? And I'm always a little bit thrown off, like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh yeah, I ran a marathon. And, my response is, it was rough because it was. And it really does kind of feel like a distant memory because I've been avoiding it. I've been avoiding thinking about it. It really was one of the most emotional races I've ever done. The morning of the race, I cried as I released all of the feelings I've been holding on to. And I was so grateful that everything was going well to get myself and my mom out to Arizona. I had been carrying around so much stress and was so relieved when race day was finally here and we had made it and everything was working out. And being at the start line, it just felt weird. Like I had been preparing for this race for the last 6 months and here it was. But it just kind of felt like I was about to go on another run. I loved how energizing the start line was and the excitement from all the other runners and announcers. And it was like, I'm just about to go run with like all of my friends, even though I didn't know anybody. And I was cautious to not go out too fast. I was feeling really great and I maintained like a slow, steady pace. And I just felt like really good. And I was feeling like I could actually achieve my goal of finishing in just under 5 hours. I was on track for that for the first 13 miles. And I was even thinking that I would be able to maintain that pace and pick it up a little towards the finish and maybe even exceed my goal. But then there's this point where it became challenging. I was running towards this beautiful view and that kept me going until I kind of felt like it was never ending. And this road just like kept going. And I just mentally, I got bored. I was struggling. So I decided to call my friend who had just completed her marathon the day before. And I just wanted to kind of get my mind off of, this boredom I was feeling, but also talk about the struggle that I was having and the negative thoughts that were starting to creep in. And I felt pretty good after talking to her. And she gave me some words of encouragement. During this time, I had, really started to slow my pace down and I was getting discouraged of like, what if I can't make the time that I wanted? And what if I wasn't going to be able to reach my goal? And she reminded me that either way, I was getting a medal and that also at this point, it was normal to slow down. Like it was going to be okay. And so I was like, all right. Then around mile 18, I could see other runners running towards me because there was a turnaround ahead. And I always love when the other runners are running towards you because it's just like really exciting. We're high-fiving, we're shouting, you've got this and good work. I could see that it was about mile 20 and then I was like, okay, I'm like 2 miles to that and then I'll be so close to the end. Like I'm almost there. But then like the steady incline just happened and the struggle like was not going away from me. And the hill was just like never ending. Like we had to go up this incline, go down and then go back up before going back down. And it was just really hard. And I was struggling. I was so hot. My legs started to really hurt and I just felt so dehydrated. I could not get myself to stay hydrated. So it was just like really hard to keep pushing forward. And so I called my mom. I needed more assurance. And this was mile 19 and I just wanted to know like where she was on the course. So I, kind of had this like point of like, when can I see her? And she said that she was at mile 22 and I was like, all right, like I'm just a few miles away. Like I can do this and I'll be able to see my mom soon. And also like just kind of looking at my time, I felt like my goal was still possible. Like even though I had to slow down, even though I had started to walk a little bit, I felt like I could still reach my goal. But then after I talked to her, I just started, my body just kind of felt like it was shutting down. And I had this like weird tension between my eyes and I wanted to cry. So I called my mom again. I was just like, like, where are you? Like, can you get closer? I just wanted to see my mom and give her a big hug. And so like I was so close and I was so happy when I finally saw her and got to give her a hug. And it just kind of helped me reset and feel like, okay, I can do this. Like I'm 22 miles in, there's not too much left. And, I was trying to set these little goals for myself of like, if I can just like make it to like this mark or this mark, like I can keep going and I can make it. But then it was not happening. And I cried some more. I cried a lot during this course. And I started to grieve the fact that I didn't see my race ending up like I wanted it to. And then I also called my dad because I needed to get some support from him too. And it was hard realizing that I had worked so hard for this and I had been so close to it and that it's not going to happen. And when it comes to races, I'm pretty competitive with myself. I want to run the whole thing. I want to give it my all. I want to get to the finish line. I want to sprint and I just want to leave it all. But this time I had to change my mindset. I realized this is not the day to reach my goal. And after kind of sitting with that, I didn't want to overdo this run. I was like, no matter what, I'm going to finish. I'm going to earn my medal like everyone else. But it was hard to know that I wasn't going to complete this goal. Yes, either way, running a marathon, completing 26.2 miles, it's still pretty damn impressive. When we registered for the race, we were asked to write down our why. And I had actually totally forgotten about that until like the morning of, someone had shared. And I was like, oh yeah. And so on the back of my bib, I had written that this was a gift to myself. That was my why. My ability to run, train, and put myself first during this process was a gift. Being able to fly out to Arizona and have my mom join me was such a gift. Proving to myself that I can do hard things is a gift. And so when I did finally get to the finish line, I didn't sprint past anyone like I normally do. I ran through it and I took it all in. And realizing that I finished my third marathon just had so many emotions to it. Like I couldn't believe it was done. I found my mom, cried again, was crying out of joy for having it be over, pride in myself, and I was in just so much pain. My legs hurt so bad, I felt nauseous, and I just didn't know what was even going to make it better. I just wanted to go and rest and then just sit with the fact that it's over. Running a marathon is such a roller coaster. And once it really hit that it was over, I sort of wanted a do-over. Like, what just happened? You spend so much time training, and then just a few, or in my case, like over 5 hours, it's all done. At the finish line, you feel proud of yourself. You're still among the presence of everyone else's excitement. You get all the congratulations, and it feels amazing. You realize you, did this really hard thing, and then you get back to your hotel, and then you feel empty. Like, it's over. And I can't believe it's over. Like that's it. And even though it was long and miserable, it also felt like it just went by too fast. And so what am I supposed to do now? What's next? And for me, finishing my third marathon, I know it's an accomplishment, but it also didn't feel like an accomplishment. I just felt like, meh, I did this thing. I didn't reach my goal. And what goal should I strive for next? People tell me about how impressed or proud or happy for me about my marathon. And it's honestly really hard for me to take in. To me, it doesn't feel impressive. I've done 2 of them. So it's not this new thing I accomplished or this thing I wasn't testing myself to see if I could do it. I've done it, but I didn't reach my goal. And I hate to admit that part of me just feels like I failed. And that I wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough to hit my goal. And that fear of failure and not being good enough is so ingrained in me. And it's something I've really been working on. And so I think that after the race, I was avoiding talking about it because I didn't want to sit with that feeling of failure. And I didn't want to fake being proud of myself or what felt like feeling fake because I didn't think I was actually proud of myself. It's hard acknowledging the different parts of myself and not giving into the ones that don't serve me. And I think as overachievers, we don't always allow ourselves to fully acknowledge our achievements. We downplay what we do. We think that anyone could do what we did, and we have to continue to prove ourselves. It's like, what's the next thing I can do? Or how can I make it better? Like that just like wasn't good enough, or we're just always on to the next thing. And so I'm really working on sitting with the fact that I didn't hit my goal while also still being proud of myself and not rushing to the next thing. Slowly taking in all the work that I put into marathon training. Missing a goal is really hard, and I think that's why it's important to enjoy the process and not just focus on the destination. And when you do reach that destination, even if it's not what you thought it was going to be, it's important to soak it all in. Don't just move to the next destination, but really sit with it. It's time to acknowledge your achievements. It's time to be proud of yourself. It's time to be you.